Hey guys, I wanted to make a video that gives a bit more context to my newest designs. I wanted to explain a few things and give a bit more insight into what went into this, maybe a little timeline, and talk about where did all this come from. It started somewhere in 2017 when I started to just go nuts and don't care about what people are gonna think. I just wanted to make things that are very experimental, and I didn't care about what anyone says. I just did what I wanted to do. Those 2017 designs, I would describe those as designs with scooped out, carved out shapes, these very bold, very deep curved cuts, shapes cut into the pattern. Even back then I was thinking about this current stuff I'm doing. But I thought to myself back then that this would be too much of a job. I wouldn't even start it. It would take forever. And I was right. So during last year I had 2 months when I had the time to do anything, and when I have the time all I do is design new things. And slowly I've started making batches of new designs, and there's about one time I normally like to look into my sketchbook and see the progression, to see how I was thinking, what came after what, and normally it's very traceable. I can see how even from the beginning I can retrace everything to pretty much one single jacket. Pretty much few of my first designs, everything come from those in a progression. So I've made a few batches of new clothes. I felt like I'm improving at a good rate. I felt like I'm using very cool techniques. I'm coming up with very interesting, very sort of complex parts as an addition, as overlaying parts onto, let's say, I would call them very basic looking jackets or coats, and decorate them with novelty parts. Then I stopped, and I started mostly drawing every day. I didn't have the motivation to just sit to it and make a new design like every 2 days. I wanted to go further. I wanted to go deeper in. There's a clear transition in the sketchbook where there are sometimes I'm in these zones. Sometimes I'm in this zone of chaos because I think all the new and crazy ideas are outside of the order, outside in the world of chaos, and I just let my brain go. I just let my hand go and draw on the paper intuitively. And from these intuitive curves and lines, I started making sense of it. I've started to organize it, to create some form of order. This order became like a game. I looked at it as some kind of game with rules, and the rules are that I take a simple silhouette and I start partitioning them into these turning strips that go around, turn and fold either under or over themselves. And when they go under or over themselves, they create new turns. The new turns create new shapes. The most elegant way of doing this, I've reached this after like a few dozen designs, is when the structure creates a shape, a loop that is infinite, like infinitely, like a closed loop of of a structure of these strips. At first, I wasn't even sure if I want this style to be the natural progression of my design language. These designs, as all of my other designs, originate from a lot of sources, even from the very first items I've ever made on a sewing machine. There's this first one, which is this white long sleeve. There's the second one I call the X top. As I've been playing further with this new game I found, I thought of why would I not fill in these holes? I normally don't like to use holes on men's items, but I thought of why would I not fill them in with something? I thought of cords, or strings, or mesh. I've had to put a lot of, I didn't realize, but I've had to put a lot of effort into thinking about what kind of formation of cording I would like to use. But that's besides the technique. The formation of chords originate from one of my very early designs. It was a glove mitten with angular lines in very specific distances. This formation is inspired by the rods of the DNA helixes. The distribution is also inspired by lamellas of mushrooms. The point of these new designs was to be ambitious, to get myself out of my comfort zone, and this time take the time to create these, because back in the day, previously, if a new item, a new design takes more than 2 days to create, I don't even start it, or I just finish it prematurely. I'm not sure where it's going to go. I think I've learned a lot, but I've got very tired. There were some points, even when I started a new one, I wasn't sure, because designing things, even if I'm confident, even if someone is confident, the person could lose that confidence and become insecure about his work or her work. There were some points when I wanted to scrap an entire piece like halfway in. The designs are inspired by so many things. I wanted to use a lot of curves, a lot of angles, and combine these into one system. I wanted to create something that looks very alien, but also very organic. If I look at them, I can recall, I can associate with them with a lot of things, with a lot of organic, natural things, like animals, like shapes that appear in the biological world. But I also wanted to stick to my style, something very futuristic, very avant-garde, very cyberpunk. They are also inspired by human anatomy. I've done a bunch of anatomy drawings, which I haven't done pretty much ever in my life. I studied photography and I was always skipping drawing class. I'm not really good at drawing. I can sketch my ideas, but I'm better at the technical things, when I'm doing the actual item and I make the most crucial decisions when I get to design junctions. I really like to go out on tangents, design junctions. Sometimes I stop a design, sometimes for days, sometimes for weeks, just to take my time when I need to make a very important decision about the shape, about a technical solution. There are also instances when I need to go backward and scrap an entire part. Fortunately, I rarely end up scrapping the entire thing and saying goodbye to, let's say, days of work. But it sometimes it does happen when I'm not enough satisfied with a part. I need to redo the entire thing, and learning new things takes a lot of experimentation, mostly when it comes to technique, because it is so easy to, let's say, it's so much easier to draw something on paper and it looks good, looks exciting, it can be done relatively quickly. But when I'm at the desk, when I need to create the actual item and figure out a new technique, when I'm facing a problem and I need to find a solution, an elegant solution to a difficult problem, that is the meat of designing things. For example, there are these chords. I've had to create laces for them, and I'm still trying out many solutions, many ways to make them as easily producible as possible. Here's the comparison. Drawing a few lines in my sketchbook takes seconds. Making the laces, doing the cording, it could take hours, because sometimes I restart halfway just to readjust the formation, readjust the steps to make it look better. Part of the initial idea to make designs like these came from when I was making these decorative knots. I was thinking that what if I should use a similar, what if I use this technique on an actual clothing item? Back then I dismissed that idea. Then it all came back to me just recently that I think this time I could do something like that. And I think I did it, and I just wanted to make this video as a summary. I think there are no points in my design journey. There are these transitions from style to style. I'm hoping there's an evolution in my designs, and I really like to look back and see what came from what and where does all this lead to.